What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Educational Football. First Premier League match week just finished today. Had Chelsea Fulham the Monday game to wrap it all up. A couple of good talking points. Got to see first impressions of every team. But first of all, I'd like to introduce my co-hosts for today. We've got Julian right there, resident Arsenal fan, and special returning guest. Always a pleasure to be with the man, JD, today, Chelsea representative. How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing
One,
good, brother.
Well, what better place to start with than today's Chelsea victory? JD, if you got any initial thoughts, takeaways from that game you'd like to share with us, lay it all out there.
Yeah. I think great game. Definitely a good way to start the season for sure under Xabi Alonso. Maybe it's just me being like super like critical about it as a Chelsea fan. I wish we got the shutout. I think the second goal, iffy. I think it happens, right? It was a bad cleanup ball, but the first goal was just kind of unacceptable for Sanchez, on Sanchez. But to be honest, pretty great start, man, honestly. Considering the fact that we had Liam Rowe Sr. not too long ago, now you have Chabi. Hey, man, I wouldn't say we're up there competing with Arsenal just yet in City, but I think we're working our way up there.
For sure. I think I saw a lot of good things from today. I think Palmer's game was, reminiscent of his first incredible season, and that's something that you guys have honestly been missing these last couple seasons. And it's got to be such a good feeling to have that front three, including Morgan Rogers, new signing, all get their Chelsea accounts open. Um, I totally agree with you on the Sanchez part, though. Are you in the camp of like you guys can't really advance with him, like challenge for larger trophies with him because that first goal is just it was egregious, dude.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like that's a good question, Jude. I'm like back and forth. He had a great season last season. I think the last couple of seasons since he's joined, he's definitely shown improvements. But like, you just can't have things like that. Like, I don't see David Raya making mistakes like that. I don't see Donnarumma making mistakes like that, right? Couldn't really say the same for Onana, but it's just like it's you know what I'm saying. Like, you can't, in order to be a title contender, the top three team in the Premier League, right? You can't make mistakes like that. So, sure, Sanchez has had improvements, but I don't deny that. He's clearly shown that he wants to play. But when it comes down to crunch time and stuff like that, you can't just let things like that happen. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think he's in an interesting spot because like for a long time I think he's always like on the radar but was never seen as a priority. Like they're always looking to target other areas in the window, but it feels like eventually they're gonna have to address it to compete. I wanted to ask you what you think of the new formation with Xavi playing three at the back. Especially looking at the wing backs, you had Gusto and Hato today, and like, what do you think about how they did? Because that's like a very like particular position you don't see too much.
Yeah, it's a great question, Julian. I think it's definitely different. It's definitely new. Something that we have to get used to. But I think since it's Xavi, a lot of people are willing to let him do. It's just experiment, right? But I will say real quick, just going back to the Sanchez topic. I really wanted Diego Costa for a long time, but I was kind of more, lax with the situation. I kind of wanted Sanchez to play it out. But if this happens again, I think we gotta rush the piggy bank and get a great keeper, especially for selling someone like Enzo. That's a whole different topic. But in terms of your question, I think it was good, man. I think it's definitely more attack minded. It definitely gives me like it gives shades of like Leverkusen, like how he would play with Frimpong and Grimaldo. He really likes to, like, knowing Chabi, he usually really likes to utilize his left wing backs. So I think it was good. I think it opened up a lot of opportunities to score. Um, it was cool, man. It's definitely promising. We didn't have Caicedo play, which was a little bit, you know, interesting. Why we didn't have Caicedo play? Enzo didn't sub until later. But yeah, Caicedo wasn't there, and Marco Palestra wasn't there. So I think it was good. It's a good idea for sure. I think we just need to play with it a lot more, and we'll see what happens. But I think it was the idea is there for sure.
Yeah. Sticking to this, the midfield question. Lavia got some minutes, starting the game. Is he? Not a bad performance at all, I'll say. I don't know if he stood out like crazy, but definitely nothing to knock on there. Is he someone that you're still holding out hope for? Like you think that maybe with the right fitness coach or whatever it takes, like he's worth just hoping he'll get a spot in the team, or it might just be time to move on.
It's a great, great question. See, I literally spoke with one of my friends about this when the match started. Lavia, great player, man. I think like he's so versatile, great box to box, but like he's just not healthy. And like he'll play 3 games, and those 3 games could be great, especially when we're playing Liverpool for some reason. But then he's just gone for the rest of the season. And honestly, from the money we spent on him, even though it wasn't outrageous, to not be playing more than like 10 matches per season is a little concerning. Um, I don't know if I'm ready to move on yet. I think this season is gonna show if fans, including Chabi, are ready to move on. But I mean, he's a great, great midfielder. Just a question of durability, and you want someone with his caliber and his potential to play and show up for your squad. So I'm not ready to move on yet, but if he doesn't play a lot this season, I think it's time.
For sure, it seems like it's like Reece James esque, But I mean, even Reece James is more fit than him, and that's like insane to say. And what are your thoughts on this whole Enzo Fernandez situation? We've seen talk about over the summer, he's been begging this move to Madrid for a while. There was talks of Maresca wanting to take him at City. They were giving them like deadlines by the week. They need a better offer, this, that, and the third. Where do you stand on that? Is he somebody that you do see as a future Chelsea captain that you do want to hold on to, or are you in the camp that's willing to take a triple-digit fee for him?
Yeah, listen, Enzo came in with a lot of heat, coming in originally, I believe it was around the 2022-23 season when Chelsea were really, really in a rut from Benfica. And he came from a very, very, he came for a very high price, right? I mean, it was pretty outrageous. And a lot of people were questioning whether if Enzo was really that type of caliber of a player in that type of midfield that can support your midfield and create chances. Um, I like Enzo, but I say this about any player. If you don't want to be in the squad, and I'm sure you guys can feel the same way about your teams, if you don't want to play for the badge, it sucks, but it's toxic, and honestly, just get out. But when you leave, give us some money on the way out. That's the way I think about it. He's a great midfielder, man. I think in the last 36 appearances, I was reading a stat. He has 10 goals, 4 assists, something like that. Again, in all honesty, for the price tag, I don't think he's worth the price tag that Chelsea are pushing for. But however, we have been fleeced in the past, so I think it's time for us to kind of get back. Um, but I think it's firm. I think it's a smart tactical decision on Chelsea, knowing Maresca and Enzo's connection when Maresca was on Chelsea. They seem to gel really well together, and Chelsea want money. And I think Man City are going to be forced to pay up, especially with the recent sellings of Rodri and Reiners. So yeah, I mean, he's a great player, man, but like I said, if you're not going to play for the badge, just leave.
I get that. And this is a question for both of you. What were your impressions of Chelsea before the season started? Like maybe where you guys would finish, the kind of results they'd get, maybe which players would perform, and has any of that changed after seeing this first performance?
Julian, you got this one, man.
I think in a lot of ways they're in a decent position, where like they don't necessarily. I don't think they're ready to challenge yet. I think there might be aspirations, but come like January and February, we'll find out. But I still feel like there's a lot of room for growth. I think Morgan Rogers could be like the signing of the season if it pans out. Like the front three of him, Palmer, and Pedro is like I think it's a super high ceiling. Um, it's difficult to say. I don't think they're gonna win the league. I think they could win a cup, but I think like this is really just the best realistic thing is that Chelsea can like solve their identity crisis and like finally like they've had good moments in the past couple of years, but it's just always felt shaky and obviously like they capitulated towards the end of last season. So I think like at best this season can be like top four finish, maybe a cup, but most importantly like get back identity and pride in the club.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of have to say what Julian says in terms of the signings. I mean, the big three right there: Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer, and Joao Pedro. I mean, talk about Joao Pedro. I mean, you got to feel for the guy. In a way, I'm happy that Ancelotti didn't sign him up, or not sign him up, but call him up for the Brazil squad because less injury prone, more time, more energy for my club. Um, it seems like he's just out for blood. But yeah, in terms of coming into the season, didn't necessarily know Morgan Rogers would be signed. I mean, I know there's transfer rumors, but things fall short. And you know, it was interesting. It was really interesting with Rosenior leaving, and then when Chabi came in, it was like, oh my God, there's this hype because there's like this aura around Chabi, um, that he knows what he wants and he will get what he wants. Because remember, he's not a head coach; he's a manager, right? So it was interesting for sure. I think this game was really, really. I think this game showed levels to the squad. I'm happy. I think the signings were good. I think one part that I'm still not satisfied on is necessarily the defense. The defense can be shaky. I will say Yoel Hato played very well, especially with how young he is. And I will say the new signings of Maxence Lacroix was great. I think Lacroix played a great game today. He was everywhere, and his assist was really nice as well, supplying to Morgan Rogers. Um, but yeah, I think some reinforcements were called in, and before the season, I was just very interested. I think a lot of people, even people who don't like Chelsea, were somewhat interested in how it was going to pan out, if they were going to be bottle jobs or not. So, yeah, I think it's promising, guys.
For sure. I mean, I think Chelsea is always before every season starts. People just want to know what's going to happen next, right? So unpredictable. Um, yeah. I mean, I'd have to agree with you. It is just so hard to say what will come of this Chelsea team this coming season. Are you confident in securing a top four spot? It feels like you guys really need to, having missed out last season. You need to regain some of that pedigree. Do you think that's achievable? I look around at the league and I think there aren't too many strong teams now. The big six are kind of, other than Arsenal, unfortunately, are kind of all in their own period of identity crisis, still figuring themselves out. So, do you see like a path for Chelsea?
That's a really good question, and I've always thought about it, man. I don't. I want to say I would, but I don't know because like if you look at the track record, manager does well, wants more power, something happens, Blueco doesn't want it, and there's always some butting heads, and then they're gone, and next thing you know, we're back to square one. I feel like with Chelsea, sure we have a lot of potential, but there's also a lot of instability with the club, right? We don't really necessarily know what the owner's goals are, um, or what they really have in mind. I mean, unlike Arsenal, I mean it's clear with like Arsenal and teams like City that they're willing to splash big for the signings to get what they want. Chelsea, it can't happen. It can't. Um, you know, I think in terms of top four, it's really tough to say. Honestly, I don't think we're going to win the Prem. I think we'll be number four. Um, I think the squad's still new. It's their first season playing together. I mean, there's just so many factors, injuries too. Like, and Chelsea just don't have the best luck sometimes. So, to be honest, top four, I think we'll be four. I think again, teams like Arsenal, City will be ahead of us. United, I don't know. I thought they really were, man. I don't know, Jude. I thought they really were. The
We
first,
all did, bro.
I know, man. It's honestly disappointing because I actually like Manchester United, so I was kind of upset how that played out with Carrick. But again, let's see what happens with them. But to answer your question, man, I think number four. And we're not playing Europa or not Europa. Yeah, we're not playing Europa or we're not playing Europe. We're not playing Champions League. So hopefully we can delegate some of that energy to top four at least, man. I hope.
Dude, gotta be. That seems like a fair assessment of the situation. It is always hard to gauge, especially after 1 week, but that sounds about right.
No Champions League is crazy. I remember watching the game against Barcelona when you guys beat Barcelona, and that was like such an impressive showing. And now you're not even in the Champions League.
See, the key word there was Who was the head coach though when we beat
Yeah,
Barcelona?
that was Mexico.
No, man. So
I think if anything is to change for Chelsea, like obviously a lot of this is just contingent on future results and whatever, but if Alonso does well and like continues to play as he has with Leverkusen and as his first game has showed, like you gotta start backing these guys, right? And you're so correct. Like we don't really know what Blueco's trying to do. It seems that it's just like a money making machine at this point. But if they want like footballing success, you gotta back them. Like the way that Maresca went out was pretty sad when he came out talking about like dealing with the agents and having to deal with the board and being forced to play and sign players. And I mean, you never really want to see that from any club, right? So I hope for football's sake, even if he proves himself, Alonso should get the backing.
Yeah, that's what we all think, right? I mean, that's listen. I'm probably one of the biggest D1 Arsenal haters out there. I can respect them, but I'm probably one of the D1 haters out there, Julian. But I will say is, I mean, look at from their playbook, right? I mean, look at Mikel Arteta. I mean, he came in, expectations were high, definitely a rocky start. I'm sure people wanted him out, but they backed him, they backed him, they backed him, they got him the signings he wanted, and look what happened last season. I mean, if that doesn't show you something, then I don't know what will. And I think Chelsea need to understand that things can't happen overnight, and managers also need the backing, and they need to be on the same page as the ownership. And I think one of the best cases of that is Arsenal. And it hurts me to say that, but you got to give credit where it's due, man. And look at Arteta, man. So yeah,
Speaking of Arsenal opening up this brand new Premier League season was it with a 3-0, I mean thrashing really of Coventry City. Um, first 10 minutes, I was fairly impressed with Coventry as it looked like they came out to play, as we do see some newly promoted sides do. But once Arsenal got their claws in that game, they never really looked uncomfortable. They looked in control the whole time, just fizzing the ball around. It almost, dare I say, looked like that exciting Arsenal of 22-23 when they first started challenging for the season. Julian, do you have any thoughts or takeaways from that game you'd like to start us off with?
It was wonderful. It was beautiful, especially seeing how a bunch of other big teams did not perform well. I think going into the season, Arsenal had great energy. We had a good window. Not the best. I would prefer us to sign another forward, especially if we end up selling Martinelli. But I think the biggest thing is obviously like finally being the champions. There's much less pressure on us, and we won the Community Shield, which is a big deal. And yeah, it was just a great performance. I feel like you can tell like we're so seasoned. These players have been playing together for a long time. Arteta's been there for a long time. There's a clear identity. The goals are, I mean, just like the way they were worked. It was obviously Coventry is not a great team, but it was super good. We managed the game really well. A couple notes on the lineup. Miles Lewis Skelly played really, really well, and the midfield is getting crowded because obviously like we sold Norga, but we have Zubimendi. Oh, welcome, John.
Look who it is.
But the midfield's getting crowded with like Rice, Zubimendi, Odegaard, and now Bruno. So it's tough to know what long term. But Miles Lewis Skelly's base. I think with this game, he said like I'm as good as anyone, and I definitely think he's gonna have a place to stay. Ben White somehow is becoming a starter again in 2026, which is crazy. He's like he's a great example of somebody who like isn't the best technical player or the most impressive, but like he can keep up and he like brings you a lot of fight. I think Havertz is starting when he's fit, unless rotation reasons. I think Gyökeres. Personally, I don't rate Gyökeres. I don't think he's a long-term player for us. I think he can step in some games, but Havertz played well. Odegaard played really well. Coming into the season, that was a big one for me because we signed Eze, who plays the same position, and that you would think that would have pushed him more. He didn't really improve. Eze also didn't have a great season last season. I don't think either of them had particularly great seasons, but from Community Shield in this game, Odegaard looked really sharp. So it was all positive. Even Solis looked good. I think there's a lot. He has a lot to prove. It's also like he's not that old. He's like first season in a new league, but overall, just super super positive.
For real, I think that starting trio of Saka, Odegaard, and Havertz all getting on the board. I mean, similar to this Chelsea thing of their front three all scoring, it does just set the tone for a really good season. I gotta say, my main takeaway, other than the nice football that Arsenal played that we weren't really used to last season was, um, how do you say his name? Zolis? Solis?
Zolis. It's like I think I don't know. It's like it's not like an English. It's like they have like a letter for it in Greek. I don't know. Zolis.
Whatever. I thought I was super impressed with him. I thought he was super positive, which is very different from what we're used to seeing from Arsenal wingers in recent history. I thought he was getting on the ball and driving at the attack, trying to make things happen, facilitated play well. Unlucky to not score on a couple chances, but that was something. He's somebody that, um, dare I say, like I'm looking forward to watch play this season. Because you always want good wingers, exciting footballers in the league, especially on a team as strong as Arsenal. So I think that was a great bit of business that they got done. John, coming in, any thoughts on this Arsenal season opener they served up for us?
I mean, the smart money going into the season was that Arsenal is going to win and likely dominate the league. And I think that, we're seeing that is, there's a reason why every pundit was affirming that Arsenal was going to win the league. I think that they are head and shoulders probably the strongest, certainly at least the most cohesive team in the Prem this season. We talked on the last episode about the fact that they are the only of the big six teams to have continuity with the manager, with the coach, and that likely does mean that they, we talk about Man City for example, who do have a very strong squad, and I would say Maresca is a good coach. It's yet to be seen how he leads the City side, but there's clearly there's a growing period that's going on right now, and you saw that in their opener with the Community Shield. You saw that they did, quite decently against Bournemouth, but that there were still moments where there could have been better, and clearly there's some experimentation with like Guehi going in the number 10 position, was it? Arsenal, I don't remember he was moved around somewhere unique.
Six.
Arsenal though, I think they are just a very strong team. Most of their players are still young, going off of a winning season last year, going to the Champions League finals. You can tell that they're hungry for more, and I do think, and I'm happy to see that the play style has substantially improved. I know it's only been 2 games outside of preseason so far, only one Prem match so far, but I think that the play style is a lot more dynamic, a lot more exciting to watch, far less cagey than it was last season, far less reliant on set pieces and of the physicality of those set pieces that a
Set
lot
piece
of
gimmick.
people.
Set piece gimmick might be over. By the way, I've been thinking about this. It might
No,
be.
All
I
right, chill.
think,
It's one game, one game. We
Yeah.
can't get too hasty, right?
look, it's one game. It's a very small set of data that we're working off of, but I would say that if Arsenal are able to continue this
Hmm.
this track, they're looking very good for the season and are really setting up for a stronger legacy as much as it pains me to say as an Arsenal hater. But yeah, Julian, you got a lot to be happy about. All the
Okay.
gooners out there have a lot to goon about.
For real.
I'm gooning.
JD, thoughts on your London neighbors? They're looking like, as John said, they are gearing up for a second consecutive title. They're looking, kind of the opposite of Chelsea these past couple of years. Like you said, they had the board, they stuck with their manager, they saw it through to the end, and it's looking like it's going to pay off majorly for them.
Yeah, man, dude, it's frustrating, man. Just seeing like what we could have been if we just had some stability. But at the same time, you got to give it to Arsenal. It wasn't like it came overnight, right? I mean, they really backed Arteta, and he got them something. But to sit there, in London and kind of look across and see that happening is it's really frustrating. But at the same time, like I said for the millionth time now, you got to give credit where it's due. Hopefully, it'll be our time soon, but you just don't know, man. Like it all goes back to the ownership. Like you would expect when a manager has a great season, they're going to back him, they're going to continue with him like they should. But it seems like it's opposite day every day at Chelsea. So um, yeah, dude, I honestly I want to sit here and say I'm pretty confident we'll be like Arsenal eventually, but like I've said in the the previous podcast it was on, unless this ownership's gone, I'm just really not that confident, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to
It's
speak
looking go
I
for
want
it.
to speak on the front line because honestly, like there's so much to be happy about, and then I start to think like, okay, like what could we look at? Like if okay, last season, if you were to ask me, can you win a league with Martinelli and Trossard as your starting left wingers, I would have been like, I don't know, but we did it. I just feel like like when you look at our front line compared to other top teams, it's clearly so weak, but we're just like in a weird situation because like the strength of our system is so high that like these like players who aren't as good as a lot of the top wingers can like still like contribute to winning games. But I don't know. I think like long term we still need more, and especially like looking at Europe where individuals matter more. I really feel like as good as Solis is, as he's shown, I think he lacks sauce, which is fine. Like he lacks like I'm thinking about Nwaneri, who had a big season 2 seasons ago and then like was forgotten and sent on loan. Nwaneri has sauce. Like it's
Is it a color thing? Is it actually a color thing though?
dude, no, because you said Solis is direct and he's direct, but Nwaneri he's techie, he's creative, he has vision, like things that we need, and that like I don't know. I feel like we still have space there. Especially with Martinelli leaving now, I think we have like space to fill. But Dan Dowman's probably going to play some minutes. I really think, I don't know what Arteta feels. I feel like Arteta doesn't feel the same way. I really feel like Nwaneri could have a big season though, and if not, I'm still looking at the next couple seasons that like I think we can win the league with this current lineup for sure. But to really like assert ourselves in Europe, I still think we're like one forward signing away.
I
I would
see.
also say, building off of that yeah, I'd also say building off of that, you do have a prem where conversely to Arsenal, a lot of the squads are in a very shaky position, either because they're kind of newly formed under new management or just in a boatload of trouble. Um, Europe, on the other hand, is looking more and more daunting. You still have, PSG, you still have Bayern Munich, and now you have Barcelona with Rodri, who, who I think are really going to take them up another level. You have Real Madrid with Mourinho. Again, who knows how that's going to go necessarily, but um, I personally expect them to do better than last season. Not to say that they're going to take anything substantial home, but I think it'll be a step in the right direction. So it is also just a harder playing field out there for Arsenal to really contend with in Europe.
I see those points, but I would also like to say I have two thoughts on this matter. First of all, is that I am I've been one of Kai Havertz's biggest haters throughout his whole career. And JP, I know you have a tumultuous relationship with him, might hate him for leaving, but that 2021 trophy is irreplaceable, right? I've always maintained that I've always thought he's just not good, right? Like I watch him play, he doesn't look good. He's not like easy on the eye or anything. But in this Arsenal team, and even for Germany, this guy just bags, dude. He just bags. And it's gotten to the point where I think I have to put my hands up and say that I'm taking the L on this one and I got it wrong. There's something about Kai Havertz that like I must not be able to see, but he gets his job done. And I think that's kind of like representative of Arsenal as a whole almost. Like that system that Arteta sets them up in, I think that takes precedence over like our view of maybe that individual brilliance you need to win that Champions League, like we say. Like they did make it to the final last year off of that stability and that structure. And I think that we have seen at this point that that is his philosophy that he is going to try to stick with is that individual players can be shut out by a strong system, and strong systems can take you to the end. So I'm not sure if Arsenal are going to move in the direction of any more large signings or integrating a type of maverick, but who's to say, really, right?
I hope.
Yeah, that was a great point. I think. Oh, sorry, Junior.
No, go ahead.
Oh, cool. I was just gonna say with Havertz, love hate relationship, more hate than love now. But like I said, like you said, honestly, man, like what you said, Jude, is what was perfect. Like Havertz isn't like a fluid player. He's kind of like, what's the best word for it? He's not like he doesn't have swaz. Like some players like Olise just have it. They're smooth on the ball. Havertz is a little sloppy. He's not that fluid. But some reason, maybe it's a system that Arteta has, like you said. He's there when they need him. What I mean is he's always in the right spot at the right time. He'll bag a goal for Arsenal. He'll bag a goal for Germany. It might not be the prettiest, and it might not be the most, you know, I guess eye pleasing to look at, but he gets the job done. A goal's a goal, and he does it. So, yeah, I just wanted to add that point. I don't know how he does it, but he's always in the right place at the right time.
Genuinely, dude. I mean, it is just impressive at this
You learn to love it. I really like him. I think he's
Whatever.
very
All
useful.
right, but
Uh,
that's enough on Arsenal.
oh,
Next we got Man U. Man U lost 2-0 to Hull City, and then we got Manchester
wait,
City.
wait, 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 wait,
All
wait.
right, all right. Here, I'll talk about this one. You know,
Whole city.
the night before the game, Jude shoots me a text. He says we waking up for United tomorrow. It's a 7:30 game. I told him hashtag WWCD. What would Carrick do? We get up at 7:30, and man, what did Amarim do, bro? Because that game felt like a 2025 Bodo Glimt match of
Michael
like
Emery. Michael Emery.
that was a difficult watch. You there's a lot that could be said. I'm gonna make one important point. United don't have an answer for the low block yet. Last season, in 8 games that they played against bottom five teams, they lost 6 of them and tied 2, I believe. Or maybe vice versa. Tied 6, lost 2. And it's because of this low block. Hull City, the manager, the coach of Hull City came out and he said that they watched United's 3 most recent games, including going out and watching the match against, I think, AC Milan in person, and basically concluded that the low block was the killer. And they shifted from a back four that they had been playing all preseason to a back five. And United simply did not have an answer for it. Their approach was to shoot as many crosses in as possible. They had 72% possession that match. They set a record more than any match last season for the amount of crosses put into the box. And not a single goal could be delivered off of that. There's a lot to analyze there. There's a lot to talk about. But the truth of the matter is that this is really a tactical issue. There were other, questions like Tielemans' fitness during the match, the mentality of the defensive line. I'm not too worried about those things. I think that those come in time. I think that Carrick during preseason was focusing a lot more on ball training than he was on fitness, on running, on things like that, and is kind of demonstrably going for the approach where his players almost warm up into the season, which is not something that is, totally alien to the Prem by any means. It's something that Pep opted to do very frequently. However, that tactical question of how United can beat the back five or the back four or just a low block in general, and the fact that it's still stumping us is concerning. And I'm not sure if an answer is on the way, if there's a system that is coming to save it. I know that if Richie were here, he would raise the point that Carrick is just not a tactician, which is absolutely true. However, there are many coaches that aren't necessarily tacticians, and I know it's kind of played out, but to go back to United's golden era, Sir Alex Ferguson was not a tactician by any means. He left the tactics up to. No, it's true. If you
Cut,
if
cut,
you
cut, cut,
if
cut,
you
cut,
read his
cut, cut, cut,
interviews,
cut,
he
cut, cut,
says that
cut,
in
cut, cut,
training,
cut. No, 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 no.
if you look at his interviews, he says in training that he during the day-to-day training was not focused on actually ingraining the tactics of the team. He left it to his assistant coaches who he trusted very well. And I think that, I don't know who necessarily is on the coaching staff that can fulfill that role for United, but I think it's something that is very much needed. Other than that, obviously we have some personnel problems. We have the same back four that we had in like maybe 2022. However, as we saw last transfer window, we kind of replaced our attacking line. This transfer window, we've done this midfield rebuild. I think the idea that everyone has like an expectation for is that the defensive line is going to get rebuilt next season, and hopefully we do get a new left back coming potentially from Barcelona. Um, Anyway, I don't want to fully write off this season yet. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I know a lot of people have had a rightfully big reaction to this game because it was a humiliating loss that should not have even remotely happened. I spent maybe 4 hours of Saturday kind of walking aimlessly, like not even listening to music or anything, in a haze about how bad that game was. But I think that there is stuff to work off of, and I think that, you know, United have been in a cycle for so long now of having this issue of starting a season off poorly and jumping on a manager's neck very quickly. I haven't seen anyone call for Carrick to be sacked yet, which I think everyone agrees is premature. This game against Ipswich next Sunday is going to be very important because if they have a terrible performance against them as well, I think there is going to be a lot of noise that is clamoring against him. However, I'm hopeful that United can come out a little more aggressively with a little more fire and perhaps some kind of, even if bare bones strategy for taking on the low block. There's rumors that Ahmad is injured. I haven't actually seen any of that covered from reputable sources, so I'm skeptical of it. However, I think that we have like an academy trained candidate in Shea Lacey who can help. I think we're getting a better sense of the midfield. Obviously, the Santos Tielemans two men was really disastrous last game, and hopefully things are changed around this coming game. Um, not much else to say on that. I hope that Cunha is a number 10, not a number 9, and that Mbumo is more of a forward role than a right wing role. And I don't know. I hope Rashford is something. Anyway, Jude,
All right. One thing John forgot to mention is that I sent that like will we wake up text at like 2 in the morning. So we were like it was
my
bad.
bad. That's true. That's true.
We
We
got
were
we
exhausted
got to get up
watching
so
that match,
early.
by the way.
And I remember like brushing my teeth and peeping the lineup, and like as soon as I saw the lineup, I was already like, this is not good. I mean, seeing Dorgu start left wing sucks. Seeing Luke Shaw start, and I know there's no other options, but just seeing that name on the team sheet sucks.
It might be
Not
better to just leave left back open
just
and
play
like
with
put
10
someone
players.
else in midfield or something. Honestly, like just get rid of that position altogether.
Not seeing Sesko start, I hated that. And you just go into the
To be
game.
fair, he's injured. He's injured. He just came back onto the squad.
All right. But Cunha's striker just not moving me at all. You mean you go into the game and it's like John said, what 72% possession, and I don't know if Man U had like one good chance, like one like clear cut chance that was like a good save or like a great defensive play. Like
I think literally the closest shot was when in the first half Dorgu hit the like 180, shot it, and it actually went so wide that I couldn't see the ball on the screen.
it's just so like it's so demotivating to watch. Like what the 20,000 times that Dorgu picked the ball up and tried to run and lost it immediately. And I mean, it's not even his fault because he's not a left winger, right? Like that's just not his position. But putting him out there and having him play is like sending a lamb to the slaughter. I thought Cunha was so sloppy. Bruno Fernandez, unfortunately, I hate to say it, had a horrible game. Yuri Tielemans was looking like EDP 45 or whatever that guy's name is. Like that shit should have been illegal, dude. Like I don't know how he was left on the field for so long. Santos, to be fair, I mean, he had so much slack to pick up because Tielemans was like passing straight to the other team, but he didn't impress like crazy. Mbuemo, the thing with Mbuemo is like last season, a lot of people were calling him like our Salah almost. Like he's not that flashy, he's not that, um, fluid like you said, but he'll get that GA. He'll be productive for you. When he's not doing that, and we saw that fall off at the end of last season, he was not scoring at the rate that he started out as, right? But having him play out wide like Carrick did and try to be that kind of creative spark just does not work. I mean, play him going on the inside, play him as your center forward if you have to, but watching him try to do real life wing play and beat his man and get a cross in. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It's just not his forte. There's
The back line, oh man. I mean,
Stinky.
Hull's game plan, like any newly promoted side or any weaker team going against a stronger team, right? It's just classic. Low block, get the ball wide when you can and whip it in, try to force it into the goal. I think, Aiden Heaven. Aiden Heaven, who is a player that I was, a big proponent of, and good deal of business from Arsenal, just £1 million as a youth academy product. I saw good things last season. Ollie McBurney, I mean, it literally looked like WWE, bruh. He made him his bitch. It like jumping all over him, pressing him like mad, not giving him a second to breathe. I think, and this one hurts me to say, and I almost didn't want to say it, but Mazraoui. Mazraoui, as a fellow Moroccan, it's never somebody that you want to diss on, right? But I think he for a while has been, he's been good. He's been in and out of the squad. He's been all right. But I think because a lot of people like to hate on Dallo, Mazraoui gets away with a lot. I think he was very poor.
Frankly,
Um,
when Dallo came on, I was so happy.
which is like you never want that to happen, right? You
Yeah,
never want that to happen.
no,
It's just such like a uninspired, like bad performance, and it makes you think like, what has Carrick been doing in preseason? What has, what have the players been doing? Um, do the players not even have a little bit of shame? And maybe this isn't like a tactical point or whatever, but like, do they not have it in them to not lose on the opening day to newly promoted Hull? Who, by the way, I heard the commentators say that they had like what 60 something goals conceded last season
the it,
in the
it, it was like a
championship.
record. It was like a recent record for goals conceded while still being promoted from championship.
Dude, and they looked like they looked like prime AC Milan in the back against me and you. It's just like I feel like there's
Yeah,
genuinely nothing good to say about the game, and that's
no.
just such a sucky feeling as a fan. Like all I'm left with is that, you know, and I don't even want to bring up signings, right? Because it's Hull City, like newly promoted Hull. We shouldn't be complaining about
We
personnel
we
issues or
we
anything.
should be able to play with like our worst squad from last season and still do better than we did this
For
game.
real, but I think so much is on the way Carrick set up the team, the lineup that he chose. So much is on the players themselves, like no responsibility. I mean, the board is the same complaints as always, same complaints as last video, but
I mean, honestly,
just
I don't even think you can blame this one on the board. Like, obviously, it would be better if we were a little more bold with our transfer market and made some bigger signings, but it's Hull City. We
No, yeah,
shouldn't be
that's
we shouldn't be needing that. And I think I don't know, I don't think all is lost. I think that even after the match, the interview with Bruno, he was clearly like destitute about it. And I think, Michael Carrick is obviously a very calm personality, but you can tell that he is very unhappy with how it went, and hopefully we'll go back to the drawing board and make some of these very needed changes. I mean, even Luke Shaw was like, I feel so embarrassed about how that
dude,
game
fuck
went.
that guy.
I
No,
got.
I know, but I'm saying even him. Anyway, JD,
No, I would
you
say,
you
yeah,
were
I
gonna
was gonna
say
say
something?
like, yeah, yeah. I listen. I gotta actually sign off, but what I will say is, before I sign off, is I think you made a great point, John. You can blame the board for a lot of things, but you can't blame him for this one. I think, like, sure, signings, you can make that claim, but I really think this one's on the players and mentality's got to change. And I forget if it was Jude or Julian or even you, John, that said this. If there's a disaster at Ipswich again, when they play Ipswich, it's going to be bad, and it's unfortunate that Man United specifically, in my opinion at least, the media is really toxic towards Man United. So it's not it doesn't benefit them when they lose again to a team that just got promoted again. Um, but I really hope Man United do well. I mean, they have promising players. It's just that like it's the question of like what needs to happen. But I guess it's a question for you guys to go over that. But before I sign off, I just want to say, guys, thanks for having me on for a little bit. Sorry I had to cut it short. But yeah, I mean, let me know if you guys are down for another pod sometime. Just keep me down. I always love coming on here, guys. I really appreciate it. So just let me know.
For sure, man.
You always have a home at educational football,
For
JD.
real.
Thank you
We
for
love
coming.
having you on here. And,
Thank you, guys.
congrats to Chelsea today, of course, and good luck for the rest of the season, man.
Dude, I need it, man. I need it. I need Arsenal to not win. So we'll see what happens. But all right, guys, thanks so
Hey,
much.
Cole Palmer tied his assist rate for all of last season today.
Yeah. Dude, hey, listen, I'll take it, John. I'll take it. Listen,
He's back.
John, talk to me when you don't lose the hole, okay?
All right, bye, JD. Get out of
All
here.
right, guys. See you. Take it easy, guys.
One last note I did just want to say, United did have a solid preseason. It's not as if they had a terrible preseason and they went out and they played a terrible opening match.
Yeah, they
I
did.
think that there is.
Yeah, we went out and played a terrible opening match, bruh.
We did. No, I know, but I'm saying it's not as if like we were watching that entire preseason like it was utter garbage and dreading this moment. Which also makes it suck much more. But
when you're looking at preseason,
nobody
has ever cared about preseason.
Look, I'm just saying we have nothing else to go off of right now. But I'm just saying like there is still a dynamism to this team. There is still a lot of strong young talent in this team. Obviously, I don't think that we're at a level where we're going to be competing for the Prem or any other like substantial major titles. But I think that we are certainly a team that is better than how we played on Saturday, and I am hopeful that we're gonna prove that in the rest of the season as it progresses.
A few words from me. First
All
of
right,
all,
let's go.
the fullback.
Be nice. Be nice though. Be nice.
No, I'm gonna be nice. The fullback situation at Man U is really bad, and it's been for like a little bit. Dalot is genuinely my least favorite player like in the world right now. One thing I think about, like this game was bad, but just speaking generally, part of me still feels like Man U lacks like synergy in the way they play, especially like in their front line. I feel like they signed like they made good signings, like Cunha and Bomo Sesko are all good signings, and Fernandez is a good player. I still just kind of feel like they lack cohesion, and maybe it's just like a matter of time or because they rotate so much. But I feel like they could really use a run of games with the same lineup. Because I still just feel like it's a bunch of good players playing together than like a good team. Another thing is Rashford should be starting every game, and like I don't know, I don't like he's so
I'd honestly say he was one of the best players on the pitch on Saturday.
he's like top 3 player at United right now, I think. No, who else?
Which really hurts.
Which hurts.
But it's
It
true,
just
but
shouldn't
it's
be
true.
that way. Yeah.
A lot of things shouldn't be how they are, but
Yeah.
this is what we have. I agree with you, Julian, and I think it's also important to remember that Carrick came in halfway through last season and basically completely changed up our entire lineup from all the stuff that Amram was trying to do. We had maybe 15 games, and each of those were at minimum 1 week apart. So that is something to be said for the lack of cohesion, and I do agree that they would benefit from just putting in minutes, putting in hours, playing in these same positions, and developing that cohesion that I agree is wanting a lot of the time.
But speaking of, I worry about you guys in Champions League. I feel like it could really detract your.
That's where I disagree with John, dude. This season.
Forget
is
about that.
shot.
Forget about Champions League.
But
Forget
the whole
about
season
Champions
is
League.
shot, dude.
But like
2 games a
obviously,
week,
yeah,
it's cooked. Menu is cooked, dude.
obviously you guys won't go far in Champions League, but it's also gonna make the time in the league harder. Like it's honestly.
I'm saying they're not independent of each other, and it's just gonna be like it's hard to have any hope for this season after what I saw on Saturday. Which
Look, I'm not gonna tell you to feel hope. I'm just saying that I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet. That's all I'm saying.
You're a better man than me. Other side of Manchester. Let's move on. Manchester City securing a late victory against Bournemouth at the Etihad. First Maresca dub for his new team. Any major thoughts on this game? I thought Bournemouth looked good. was one of my major
Bournemouth look
takeaways.
good. Bournemouth were on a huge unbeaten run last season, and coming into this season, they have a new manager, but a very similar squad. And out of all the teams in the league, like they just seem like speaking of cohesion and identity, I feel like they're one of the most defined teams. Um, yeah, they look sharp. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's yet to be seen how far this goes without Iriola leading the squad, but they're solid. They're good.
Yeah.
In terms of City, honestly, I thought they did quite well. I know that, they didn't get over the line until the very end of the match, but I think that it was a little bit only a matter of time. They were in the, Bournemouth side and in the box for a lot of the second half. And I think it also shows the talent of Ryan Cherky specifically. I was left wanting by Haaland, but I don't know, maybe the aerodynamics of his new haircut threw him off.
I was thinking, like, what if it's like freaking
He,
Sammy, you know, like
dude,
the powers in the hair, bro.
that's what what's his name, Zlatan said. He was like, you lose your power if you cut your hair. So maybe this is the fall the fall of Haaland. I
No,
don't
but
know.
yeah, I agree. I think Shirky coming on like changed the whole game for City, and that's really it's. I mean, not a City fan at all, but as a football fan, it's nice to see Cherky play well. And one thing I was maybe a bit apprehensive about following the World Cup, where he didn't play that much, he didn't play well at all. I wondered if that would carry over into this season, but it seems as if he's hit the ground running once more. So that was nice to see. A lot of good, clean passes, 2 assists to help City secure the dub, and yeah, I think for Maresca, could have been maybe a bit of a better start, a more concrete victory, but he'll for sure sleep a lot better knowing that he was able to start off with a win. And City is probably one of the teams that I'm most excited to watch this season just to see how they fare, post Pep era.
Yeah.
Just waiting till next week. If Richie were here, I'm sure he'd have a lot more to say, but lucky for us, he's not. So we can move on to the
Wait, I
Liverpool.
didn't speak on this game at all.
Do you
Hello?
want to?
Yes, I have
I'm kidding. Go
thoughts.
ahead. Go ahead.
All
Obviously.
right, you started us off, kid.
Oh my, I did not.
He didn't, by the way, you did.
You skipped me.
No, Julian talked to. All right, you know what?
I,
You
I,
talk about
What was
Burnmouth.
the cut sign? What was the cut sign? Two hands up or something?
bro, I think the City lineup was interesting. Gahey at the six was cool, but like I don't think that's a long term thing. Rico Lewis, I felt like Ian Wright. Someone said he was dead. When I saw him, I was like, he's I don't know, bro. He needs to go to Italy or something. Like he's a really good player, but um, I don't think he's long term. I think Foden. I think honestly, dare I say, Foden has a role to play in this team. I think he could come back. That one almost assist he had, the flick. I was like, hold on. I think the biggest thing though is like, and Pep did this too, and Maresca does this, where like they change the lineup so much. Like I really feel like there's another team that could benefit from just finding like a lineup with only a couple of rotations and just playing it just for 10 games straight and seeing what happens, especially with the back line, because I feel like their defense is shaky, but they have a really good, like they have the second best squad in the league, if not, you could argue the squad is better than Arsenal's, honestly. Um, so I feel like for them it's important about like finding the right lineup and just like building consistency and also like starting Cherky because he's really like people defend so hard in the Premier League and everyone is up against low blocks and like he's so good. Like no one else in the league is like him like making passes inside the box like still finding space. So yeah, but City I don't think that they're the only team I think that could challenge Arsenal. I just think their squad is so good. I still think like just on paper they have so many talented players. So
Fair. That is a good point. Um, are you
Moving
talking,
on to
man?
Liverpool.
listening, bro.
And hey, since it's the city portion, let's give a shout out to our co-host Richie, who just drove all the way to Chicago to start dental school. Let's give him a salute, boys.
One
No,
day,
no, yeah, yeah.
one day drive.
They left this morning.
Wow,
Went 12 hours straight. I honestly didn't think Richie had it in him.
impressive.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on to Liverpool. Um,
Liverpool.
nail biting tie. Any other thoughts? I watched like bits and pieces of this game, but I wasn't really like sat for it, so I don't have too much takeaway from it.
Liverpool are in trouble, bro. That's my takeaway.
Liverpool are in big trouble, dude. Big trouble. I think Victor Munoz, new signing, came on, I believe, around 60-ish minutes in. He was a nice injection of life, trying to be more positive with the ball. So that's a bit of a promising player for Liverpool. But yeah, I mean, it was ass. Frimpong ass, Kirk has ass, Isaac ass, Gakpo being their savior with, I mean, honestly, a brilliant goal.
Gakpo was good, bro. I don't care what anyone says. Gakpo's a good player.
See, when you're at
And
this
now
stage,
and now and now he's linked to
No,
an exit, by the
I've
way.
always. I know he had a bad season last season. Gakpo is a good player.
I don't know, dude.
He's a good player. I don't care.
But yeah, I think Liverpool are in trouble. On the Newcastle side, I thought they looked very positive, getting a very early goal, starting off strong. Elanga looked good. Osula, a player from last season that piqued many people's interests, who seems to continue to be on an upward trajectory. A lot of positive actions, chances, chances on goal. So he looks like somebody that is going to be a key player in this new Newcastle team, following all these departures and the incoming of a new manager and maybe some signings. Um, I think Liverpool did get bailed out by a very bad Lewis Hall mistake in those final minutes to concede that penalty. But I agree with Julian on this one. I think it is going to be a tough season for them. Florian Wirtz continuing his miserable form from the last season. So it's tough to see how they're going to do. I think it's going to be really bad.
Yeah, I think it's looking rough. They just have a lot of problem positions. Both fullbacks. Kirkez is like so uncomposed. Like I feel like he's a good player, but he's so shaky, and I feel like he's unreliable. Frimpong, and even yeah, Verts is like it's looking grim. Like like
It's done. I think it's done for him, by
looking
the way.
grim. It's looking grim. Isaac, honestly, he could recover. I think Isaac could recover. And honestly, and they still have an issue with depth and in the front line. Like they don't have the best options anymore. I don't know. They
Or even in the back line.
backline depth also. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing this summer. Like I don't like I don't who's in charge and like why did like
Dude, they were posting Bradley Barcola aura edits on TikTok and calling it a day.
I don't yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's like they don't like I don't know what their plan is. I actually don't know what their plan is.
Yeah,
Um, moving on, unless you
yeah,
guys have anything more to
yeah. I
add.
think one thing really quickly, Villa got thrashed by Brighton and Hove Albion. 4 goals inside 35 minutes. I think Villa is a team that has gotten away with Loki a lot this summer. They've lost a lot of good players, and they look like, I was looking at that lineup yesterday, not a lot of good incomings either. They look like they could be in a good amount of trouble. And that's especially disheartening. A lot of people will talk about this food chain and to know your place, but after winning a European trophy with Unai Emery, the fact that the board is just willing to sell a lot of their best players and not try to hold on to them or strengthen what they have is fairly it's really disappointing. If I was a Villa fan, I'd be pretty furious, but they look like they might be in trouble this season, especially playing Champions League, correct? So that's
Yeah,
that's going to be hard for them.
I'm sad to say I agree, especially like there was a point last season where they almost looked like a title contender for the Prem. They did really well. No, there was a point where they were like
First
second.
couple months, they were up there.
That's true.
Yeah. And they ended what in fourth? Like they still ended very solidly. No, who was fourth? Who? Whatever. Anyway, it is sad to see a team that really like for a team at Villa's level, at this mid-table level, kind of went the distance and has now been summarily taken apart. It is very sad to see, and such a devastating loss to open the season. Um,
I have
Julian,
faith. I'm a Bills supporter. I feel like I don't know. I don't honestly the new signings. I don't know. I genuinely don't know about them. So I still feel like they have some good players. I'm looking right now. McGinn.
they subbed on Garnacho, by the way. That's how bad
That
things
was
are
bad.
getting.
That's a worrying one. But that's also it's like I don't know. I still feel like they have some key players. I feel like McGinn is like a great captain and honestly a really good player. They kept him. Buendia is really good. I like Ian Matson a lot. Obviously, they lost a lot. I still feel like they have some good players. I also feel like they have continuity. Like they've had this Unai Emery's been a manager for a long time. I don't know. I feel like they definitely are gonna do worse, but I feel like they're gonna figure something out. Like I still feel like they could be top six, honestly.
First of all, hands up, they totally got fourth last season. But it's just putting Unai Emery in such a tough spot. Like he's gonna have to pull a couple master classes to have a successful season. But speaking of Unai Simone, you like that little segue? Let's move on over real quick before we wrap up to La Liga and the two Spanish giants opening up their seasons in quite different fashions. Barcelona beating Elche, thrashing them really 5-0, and Real Madrid needing a stoppage time winner against Real Sociedad to secure the dub. I like to start with the Barcelona side. Not sure if you guys have many thoughts, but I think a couple things I'd like to say. Gordon came on, and it burns me to say, but he looked good. And Adeyemi as well, scoring his first goal. They both look like positive players for this team. Rafinha returning will surely be a huge positive for them and is sure to aid their Champions League aspirations once again. Yamal created a lot of good chances, wasn't able to get on the scoreboard, but looked to be warming up his engines post World Cup and post injury. And once again, they are looking like one of the top teams in the world and a scary team to go up against.
Definitely agree. I didn't watch this game, so I don't have much to add, but was not terribly surprised when I saw the scoreline afterwards.
For me, I didn't also watch this game. I feel like Barca is just one of those teams where it's like you just gotta look at Europe. Like I'm not impressed that Gordon and Adeyemi did well in this game, honestly, because like that's what La Liga is. I still feel like they like it's really just about Europe and they have a lot to prove. But I'm not hating. I that was loud. That was really loud. Um, I'm not hating. I think Gordon is really. I believe in Anthony Gordon. He had a great World Cup. I think he's a big game player. Adeyemi has I don't know if he's like a good player over a season, good player over 90 minutes. He just scores bangers sometimes. But maybe I'm wrong. I feel like the biggest thing looking into this season is Rodri. Um, Rodri changes everything genuinely, and then also if Flick can like let the back line chill, if someone just tells them to let them chill a little bit, they would be unstoppable, bro.
Dude, it's he has to have like I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, he's sick. He's sick.
Yeah, and just a little bit about Madrid before we wrap up. First W of the Mourinho era as well. That's always nice to see. Who other than Jude the Dude Bellingham open up this season scoring? I mean, what a guy, right? What a guy. It was a
And
game
I
where,
it's nice to see how he's getting the flexibility that he really deserves
for real,
and that the team needs.
being put in those positions where he can succeed, right? Julian's sending fine chat texts, but
Julian is
the
actually
thing is,
texting her right now. He said, "Hold on, five
Mbappe
more
as
minutes, baby
well.
girl."
Fuck this video, dude. All right, guys, thank you for joining us for this week one Premier League roundup. We are looking forward to the second round of games, seeing a little bit more how the table shapes out, gaining a little bit more information about these teams, what they're going to look like in this coming season. and we'll be along with y'all for the ride. So, thanks for watching today, and this has been educational.
You know?
Educational football. Have a good night, guys.